Okay, students, good afternoon. Let's start.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yesterday, I had discussed about one of the tissues, if you remember. Can you name the tissue very quickly? Which
Adrenal
adrenal?
cortex.
Adrenal cortex. So I'm taking up the second one, adrenal medulla. After some time, I'll be asking questions of what I did yesterday because you need, though I'll give you time to revise. We are going on to the next one, that is adrenal medulla. Before I start with adrenal medulla, just tell me one thing, which gland are we talking about?
Adrenal gland.
Adrenal gland.
So I hope there is no confusion here. We are talking about the adrenal gland, adrenal cortex, and so we are moving on to the second kind of tissue, that is adrenal medulla. We have already done adrenal cortex. Very quickly we will do this adrenal medulla. There were some hormones we had done yesterday about adrenal cortex with the divisions of adrenal medulla. I'll give you 2 minutes. Please read what is written on the screen and then I'll start explaining. See, adrenal medulla lies in the center of the adrenal gland. Location, it's not difficult. It is in the center of the adrenal gland. It is an internal, soft, dark, reddish brown tissue, which is derived from the ectoderm. A very quick revision of primary germ layers, I told you, 3 germ layers, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. So this is derived hormones. Number 1 is adrenaline, and second is noradrenaline. See, beta, I think you've already done adrenaline a bit in class 10th. Let's go more and study about the next ones. Okay. If you know about adrenaline hormone, you must have done in class 10th. Tell me something about adrenaline.
It is released when we
Ma'am,
are
it
in a
is
condition.
secreted when we are in the condition of danger, stress, or
There
during
is
any.
another name for adrenaline hormone. Which hormone is it called? Beta is it also known as the stress hormone, if you remember. You remember in
Yes,
class
ma'am.
10, done this is stress hormone. Now see, you'll get a new name for this. If you can see on the screen over here, you've done in class 10 that it is called adrenaline. Let's have this. Let me shift it off a little for you people. Tell me the name in the brackets. Adrenaline is written. What is it which is written in the bracket after that?
Epinephrine.
Very quickly, please learn. Adrenaline, epinephrine. Look at this word. See the spelling very nicely. This word before?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
You've heard about epinephrine injections. See, beta, whenever there is a
No.
life-threatening allergic reaction, okay, I'll tell you a bit about it, just a little bit about it. Whenever there is a life-threatening allergic reaction, supposing a person has an allergy and it's something so serious that it has become life-threatening, or then this injection is used, epinephrine injection. Is it okay for everybody? Please remember this name. It is known as epinephrine. This is generally used as an emergency medical treatment for life-threatening allergic situations.
Ma'am, what you said just now?
Which part you're asking, beta? I'm telling you about epinephrine injections. They're
Yes,
used
ma'am.
for
Same thing.
emergency. They're used for emergency medical treatments when there is an acute emergency of life threat, especially when there are allergic reactions or there are insect bites. Adrenaline, you all know about, which is the second hormone. Please speak out. I want you to have the pronunciation.
Noradrenaline.
Try it out, children. Try it out.
Noradrenaline.
Norepinephrine.
Noradrenaline.
Norepinephrine.
Just break the word. You'll be able to pronounce it very easily. Try it once again.
Norepinephrine.
You're speaking the one in the bracket, huh? Very smart. I'm asking for the first one. Speak out. How would you pronounce the first one?
Noradrenaline.
Noradrenaline. If you see, it's exactly adrenaline. But then, what is the next word? Just nor is added to it. Have you heard about this word earlier? Have you come across this word somewhere, children? Anybody? Anywhere?
When
Noradrenaline.
there is low blood pressure, I guess then the injections are used.
Speak loudly, bache. Not able to get it. Tell me.
Ma'am, when there is low blood pressure, BP is low, then
Okay.
these injections are used, I guess.
Okay. At least she's guessing. Anybody else would like to guess? Beta, depression, anxiety, psychological disorders. Generally, we use this noradrenaline because we told you adrenaline causes, adrenaline is basically related to stress. So when we talk about the drugs or medicines which are used to treat psychological disorders, depression, anxiety, OCDs, all these kind of factors, then we use this noradrenaline and a combination of serotonin. That's a different thing. So very quickly, we are coming to adrenal medulla. Name the two hormones which are secreted by adrenal medulla.
Adrenaline and noradrenaline.
Only one student is present in the class today.
Adrenaline and noradrenaline.
Adrenaline and noradrenaline.
Adrenaline and non-adrenaline.
See, these hormones belong to a category of compounds. I'm talking about both the hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. They belong to a category of compounds. Please try pronouncing this word. It's catecholamines. Catecholamines. Please pronounce now.
Catecholamines.
Catecholamine.
So together these hormones, we put them in one category of compounds, and this category of compounds are known as catecholamines. They are secreted in response to any kind of stress, danger, emergency situations. It could be increased respiratory rate, it could be increased heartbeat, any stress condition, which you've already done in class 10. So more or less it is the same. So there are rather two things which you've learned new. The first one is noradrenaline, and the second is the category of the compounds in which both the hormones are included. Name the category of compounds in which adrenaline and noradrenaline are related to.
Catecholamines.
Yes, they're catecholamines. So I'm going to remove this page very quickly and I'll be asking questions from you. We are discussing about which tissue of adrenal gland?
Adrenal medulla.
medulla.
Adrenal medulla.
What did we do yesterday?
Adrenal cortex.
Adrenal cortex.
Okay. Name the two hormones in adrenal medulla.
Adrenaline and noradrenaline.
Okay. What is the word we generally use here for noradrenaline? I had told you about some drugs. It starts from N only, noradrenaline. And what is the other name?
Norepinephrine.
Yes, Peter. And both of them together are...
Norepinephrine.
Yes, yes, speak out. Very good. I'll wait if you speak. Yes, speak out. Both of these hormones are put together in a category of compounds. What is that category known as?
Catecholamines.
Catecholamines.
See, I'm going so slow. The only purpose behind going so slow is that I want you to learn this chapter with me here only. Let's move on to the next part. The CNS at the time of stress or danger stimulates the adrenal medulla to release both these hormones. In normal conditions, these hormones are not released. In the beginning only, you told me they're stress hormones. So normally when there is a stress or a danger, then the CNS, it stimulates this gland of yours. And in adrenal gland also, this tissue, that is the adrenal medulla. These are also known as emergency hormones, hormones of fight, hormones of flight. Hormones of fight is okay. Why are they known as hormones of flight? Can you guess?
To run in situations where we can't fight.
Exactly. If you remember in class 10th, you had a picture where a dog is running after a child and the child is running away. So that picture, that image gives you the exact idea of why we call it as a hormone of flight. We have got a signal that there's a danger. So if we cannot fight it out, we flight. There are two options whenever there is a danger.
It activates a lot in the danger situation.
Yes, beta. We just have two options when there is a danger situation in our life, either fight or flight. There is no third option. The third option, the other person will have then, the danger. So we have only two options, either fight for the danger or the other one is flight. So both the conditions, they are related to this hormone of yours, that is the emergency hormones. What are the functions? Okay, they increase your alertness. They increase your alertness. Dilation of the pupil. Can anybody tell me how dilation of the pupil is going to help you out in danger?
Maybe we are able to see the things more clearly since more light would go inside the pupil.
A little louder.
Ma'am, maybe it may help like the more light would go inside pupil, so we would be able to see more clearly.
Excellent, excellent, beta. When your pupil gets dilated, then more light enters your eye. And then what will happen is you'll be able to see more clearly. Normally, when you go to a eye wala doctor, what does he do? Whenever you go for an eye examination, before the doctor tests your eyes, have you ever gone for testing your eyes? Anybody?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Generally, before testing your eyes, they put some eye drops in your eyes, a drop or two, and then they normally test for the eyes. The reason again is the same, beta. They increase the size of the pupil. What are they trying to do by putting those drops? They're just trying to increase the size of your pupils. So what will happen by that? They'll be able to observe what is the problem. You know that the amount of light will determine your size of the pupil, whether it is going to become bigger or smaller. Whenever it is dilated, it means allowing more light to enter. Just remember this much as of now. When your pupil is dilated, it means it is going to allow more light to enter. Let's come to the third word on the screen. Does anyone know the meaning of this? Acha, it's already given only. Raising of hairs of hands and legs. I think you must have experienced it when your board exam was expected the day it was expected. You must have experienced this thing, most of you. What is this called? This is called
Goosebumps.
What is it called?
Goosebumps.
It is called piloerection. Yes. Your hairs, they raise, hands, if you touch them, they look so rough, very coarse when you're nervous. So this part is called as piloerection. In English, what is this called as? This is known as piloerection. Let's move on to the next one now. Increase of your heartbeat and rate of respiration. You all have experienced it recently when your exam results were out. They also stimulate the breakdown of glycogen, due to which the concentration of glucose increases in the blood. Why do we need to increase the concentration of glucose in the blood at the time of stress?
So that we can get immediate energy.
Perfect. Anybody else? Why do we want to break? Why do we want this process to be done? Of course, you're going to get more energy and breakdown of lipids and proteins. Okay, breakdown of lipids and proteins. This also will help you to get more amount of energy. So this is breakdown of lipids and proteins. Very quickly, I'm doing the functions: increase alertness, dilation of the pupil, piloerection. Tell me what is piloerection? This is a new word for you.
Raising of hairs of hands
Raising of
and legs.
hairs and
Raising of
hands.
hairs of hands and legs.
Please remember this word. I think this is the first time you're coming across it. Increase in heartbeat, increase in the blood sugar concentration of glucose in the blood level, and stimulating the breakdown of lipids and proteins. Very quickly, tell me the name of the two hormones which we just discussed.
Adrenaline and noradrenaline.
Adrenaline and noradrenaline.
Together, they were known as a category of compounds. What were they together called as?
Catecholamines.
Catecholamines.
Catecholamine.
So when we had divided the human body into three parts, we had done the glands in the head, we had done the glands in the throat, then we came down and there were two glands together. Adrenal gland is already done. There was one more with it. Which one was it?
Pancreas.
Pancreas.
Which one was it, beta?
Pancreas.
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 It was pancreas. If you remember, which was the next gland just next to adrenal with that we had studied about when we were discussing about the human body being divided, then it was pancreas. So let us go about pancreas. Pancreas is a very special gland because it is both exocrine and endocrine gland. Such kinds of glands which are both exo and endo in function are known as heterocrine glands. What are these glands known as?
Heterocrine.
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 Yes, beta, they are known as heterocline because they've got hetero functions, that means different functions. So they're known as heterocline glands. I'll just scroll it down. I want you to read for a second. Read till here. Read till beta cells, this part. And then I'll explain it to you. Read from pancreas, start from here. Read up to beta cells. Just 2 minutes to read. I hope you've read about this pancreas very quickly. This is the composite gland which acts like both exocrine and endocrine, and that is why it is known as which gland, children?
Heterocrine.
Heterocline gland. Why so few students speaking today? I don't know. Are you tired because your classes started early today?
No,
Tell
ma'am.
me, why is the energy level so low in the class? It's the last period. That is the reason. Origin. Its origin is from the endoderm of the embryonic germ layers. It just lies below the stomach in the loop of the duodenum. Let's talk about the structure. It is elongated yellowish gland that consists of large number of echini and ducts. Another question for you. Everybody knows what's ducts. Tell me what is ACINI, echini. Please try.
Cavity.
Have you heard this word? Just tell me yes or no at least.
Ma'am, cavity.
You know about lobes, okay? Can you guess what is ACINI, SNI? Anybody? She's already given one guess which she has. At least she tried it out. Nobody else wants to try? See, this word SNI comes from a foreign language word, that is Latin word, which means berry. What does it mean? It means berry. So that shape that we have, you know berries now? I hope you know what are berries. So that shape that we have, basically berry shape, here the digestive enzymes generally are produced over here and the shape is berry shaped. pyramid kind of cells are present in this area. So it's a small cavity where you have pyramid shaped cells. And the cavity, if you see from outside, it looks like the shape of a berry. That is why it is known as acini. So we have come to this very quickly. It originates from the endoderm. It lies below the stomach. Then it is elongated yellowish gland. It consists of a large number of acini and ducts. Beside these, pancreas consists of 1 to 2 millions of small group of specialized cells called islets of Langerhans. How many of them in number? How many, beta?
1 to 2 million.
1 to 2 millions. And they are known this because after the name of the discoverer who discovered them. Name the name of the person who discovered these cells.
Paul Langerhans.
Paul Langerhans.
Paul Langerhans. And which year it was? Long back. Which year it was?
1869.
Yes, it was 1869. Today, very few participants in the meeting. Well, is it a net problem? Is it a data problem? What is the problem? I'll have to speak to the children. Now, each islet, let's talk about this. In normal human pancreas, these cells represent only 1 to 2% of the pancreatic tissue. When you see the number 1 to 2 millions, the first thing which comes in your mind is so many of them. But the fact is, even these 1 to 2 millions that we're talking about, it is only 1 to 2% of your total pancreatic tissues. So this should give you a clear picture as to how many cells are present in the pancreas. Each islet consists of major 2 types of cells, alpha cells and the beta cells. The alpha cells are about 25% and they secrete a peptide hormone glucagon. So glucagon, of course, you know, is secreted by pancreas. This glucagon is secreted by which cells of islets of Langerhans? Name the cells.
Alpha cells.
Alpha cell.
Alpha cells.
And the very common one, insulin, which you've already heard about, this is not secreted by alpha cells. This is secreted by, we know that insulin and glucagon both are secreted inside the islets of Langerhans only. But glucagon is secreted by alpha cells and insulin is secreted by beta cells. So how much percent alpha cells are there?
25%.
25.
And how many percent of beta cells?
60%.
So when I say 60%, it does not mean exactly 60%. There is a range. Okay, so let's come to this. Name the hormone which is produced by the alpha cells.
Glucagon.
Glucagon.
I wonder, see, it is becoming dull even if we are doing a combined class, and if you're going to sit and learn alone, then how boring it is going to be. It's a rote learning chapter, children. Please keep speaking. What about this insulin? It is secreted by which cells?
Beta cells.
Beta cells.
So there is something else that I want you to read. Then I'll give you a break of 2 minutes. We'll discuss what we've done till now. See, apart from alpha and beta cells, the islets of Langerhans consist of 2 or more types of cells, which are known as delta cells. In short, we call them as D cells. See, beta, 60 plus 25 makes 85%. So we're still left with 15%. So the 15% is actually these delta cells. The other name for delta cells is D cells. They secrete somatostatin hormone and PP cells or F cells. These PP cells or the F cells, they secrete pancreatic polypeptide PP hormone. So PP cells will secrete which hormone? PP hormone.
Polypeptide.
Yes. Very quickly tell me the third kind of cells, apart from alpha and beta cells, which are the third type of cells?
Delta cells.
Delta cells. Okay. How much percent roughly? What is the other name for delta cells?
D cells.
D cells.
Very good. We call them as D cells. They secrete which hormone?
P hormone.
Yes.
Somatostatin.
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 Yes, beta. And what else? Apart from somatostatin hormone, what are the 2 types of cells more that we have just studied about? What is the name of the other cells? Please tell.
Pancreatic polypeptide.
Yes, very good. PP cell stands for pancreatic polypeptide cells. Earlier, beta, when these cells were discovered, they were known as gamma cells. So it was alpha, beta, and gamma. Later, what we had is the name was changed, and now we call them as PP cells. See, these PP cells or F cells, they produce pancreatic polypeptides. And where are they producing this? In the islets of Langerhans only. They are very few in number, so almost just 8 to 10%. They are secreting the pancreatic polypeptide, that is PP hormone. So how many types of cells generally in islets of Langerhans? What is the function of this? Why do we need this polypeptide PP hormone? What is the function of this PP? What will it do? See, basically your intestinal activity, the motion which takes place in your intestines, the contractions of the ileum, it is this hormone which is responsible. Which one? PP hormone. Glucagon, you know the function. Insulin, you know the function. Just want to discuss about this polypeptide one. This is the PP hormone. PP hormone helps in the motility, the movement of your intestine, the ileum contractions, the gastric part, colon contractions, all the stomach and intestine contraction and relaxations. It is this hormone which is responsible for. So what about glucagon? Any idea about glucagon hormone? See, glucagon and insulin, they have antagonistic effect on blood glucose level. What does this word mean? Antagonistic effect. I know even beta, even if you don't know the answers, please guess out. What does antagonistic mean?
Opposite.
They have opposite effects.
Opposite.
So they are saying antagonistic effect on blood pressure. So what kind of an opposite effect can be possible on blood pressure, beta?
Glucagon would decrease the glucagon would increase the pressure, and insulin will decrease the blood sugar level.
Any more child who would like to try? Good, she tried it out, Sanvi. She's right. It's actually the opposite effects, beta. How are the opposite effects? Insulin will lower the blood sugar and glucagon will raise it. Clear, everyone? See, when the meeting gets over, please join on the same link. Immediately join on the same link after this meeting gets over. I want to continue with this. So I hope you've understood the meaning of this. How are they antagonistic? Tell me very quickly. What will insulin do?
Lower the blood sugar level.
And what will glucagon do?
Increase the blood
Increase
sugar.
the
level.
Very good. So let us see how they are antagonistic, both of them very quickly. This hormone, glucagon, it will play a very important role in maintaining a normal blood glucose level. It will bring change of the liver to blood glucose. Basically, in short, increase or decrease?
Increase.
Yes, it is
Increase.
going to increase. Let's do the functions of glucagon. Then I'll take a break for you so that you can revise and we'll discuss. It acts mainly on the liver cells, hepatocytes, and stimulates glycogenolysis. Did I do this word with you yesterday? We did glucogenesis, not this. How
Yes,
many of you
ma'am.
remember? How many of you remember what is glucogenesis? Gluconeogenesis, you remember? You've forgotten that also. Tell me
Ma'am,
what is gluconeogenesis. Then I'll tell you this one. First, let me go back.
Stimulates the liver to from carbohydrate to non-carbohydrates like amino acids and glucagon.
What was that word? Here, there's a bit confusion. So let me clear it out. Very good. Tell me that term exactly and the spelling as well so that others also are clear about it.
Gluconeogenesis.
Gluconeogenesis.
Gluconeogenesis. Give me the spelling also. Then we'll discuss this new one which has come to you.
GLUCONEOGENESIS.
Okay. And what is this word? Is it the same? Pronounce this word.
Glycogenolysis.
Genesis.
The lysis word itself tells you that something is going to break down. Lysis always means breaking down. So when we say glycogenolysis, it is breaking down of the glycogen molecule only into glucose. So your glycogen is changing into glucose, into a simple sugar. This method or this process, this phenomena is known as glycogenolysis. Very quickly, tell me what is glycogenolysis?
Breakdown of glycogen molecule into glucose.
So that means the amount of glucose is going to increase or decrease?
Increase.
Increase.
Obviously, it is going to increase because the process of glycogenolysis is going to take place. In glycogenolysis, your glycogen is going to change into glucose in the blood sugar level. So the amount of glucose in the blood sugar is certainly going to increase, and this will lead to increased blood sugar level, which is known as, what is the term on your screens, please? Read it out.
Hyperglycemia.
Hyperglycemia.
Excellent. Hyperglycemia. So you should not get confused with three words: gluconeogenesis, glycogenolysis, and the third is hyperglycemia. Let's go in the opposite order and revise again. Tell me what is hyperglycemia. I'll have this on the screen as of now. Later I'm going to hide it. Tell me, children, what is hyperglycemia? See, these three words are quite confusing. They are almost similar. So let's revise them once. What is hyperglycemia?
Increase in blood sugar level.
Increase in the blood sugar level.
Excellent. Hyperglycemia is caused because of which phenomena?
Glycogenolysis.
Glycogenolysis.
Very good, children. And what is glycogenolysis?
Breakdown of glycogen molecules into glucose.
Yes, I just now told you in glycogenolysis, what it is, what which is getting converted into glucose?
Glycogen.
Glycogen.
Glycogen was undergoing lysis, that means it was breaking down. Apart from this, glucagon also stimulates the process of gluconeogenesis. This will contribute to hyperglycemia. We have done this. Glucagon is known as the hyperglycemic hormone because it reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Please read this line again. Glucagon is known as, what is the name of the hormone? What is glucagon known as?
Hyperglycemic.
Find out why this glucagon is known as hyperglycemic hormone. Beta C, if it will reduce the cellular glucose uptake, if this hormone is going to reduce down the cellular uptake of glucose, then automatically the increase will take place of glucose level in the blood. Cellular uptake means the cells are not utilizing glucose to a certain level. They've reduced the utility of glucose. So if the cellular intake of glucose becomes low, automatically what is going to happen is the amount of glucose is going to increase in the blood sugar level. I hope you've understood this line. I'm doing it again with you. Glucagon is known as hyperglycemic hormone because it reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Uptake means the cells are not going to take glucose. They're going to reduce down, and utilization of glucose is also going to go down. So if the glucose is not going to the cells are not utilizing, obviously the amount of glucose is going to increase in the blood, and it will cause this disorder we had just discussed about, that is hyperglycemia. That is the reason glucagon is known as hyperglycemic hormone. Now tell me, why is glucagon known as hyperglycemic hormone?
Ma'am, because it stimulates glycogenolysis, which later results in increased blood sugar level, which is hyperglycemia.
How does the blood sugar level increase? I had just explained. Can you tell me the reason how the blood sugar level is increasing?
The amount of glucose that the cells take and utilize it decreases.
Excellent, beta. So if the uptake and utilization is going to go down, then obviously what is going to increase is the amount of sugar level in the blood, and this disease or this disorder, hyperglycemia, is caused. And that is the reason we call it as which? Tell me very quickly, this is known as which hormone?
Hyperglycemia.
Hypoglycemia.
Because it is causing hyperglycemia, that is why we call it as a hyperglycemic hormone. It reduces glycogenesis and also enhances lipolysis. What is lipolysis?
Breakdown of
lipids.
Excellent, children, excellent. Before I go to insulin, very quickly, I'll scroll up. All of you just revise once. Yes, very quickly, we have done about, yesterday we did about which gland, children. Now it's your time to speak. I've spoken enough now. And when the meeting gets over, please join again with the same link. We were doing functions of adrenaline, noradrenaline. We have done about pancreas, alpha cells, beta cells. Can you name the third type of cells quickly?
Delta cells.
Delta cells.
We were too tired today. Woke up early today after many months. Am I right? How many of you did attend the first class today at 8 o'clock? Nobody? Nobody came for the first class?
Ma'am, me.
Ma'am, I also came.
You came. You were there for 8 o'clock class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I was also
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
After how many months you woke up early morning today? Suppose 4 months or 5 months? Gradually, I think you'll get used to
8
this.
months.
Okay. Children, again a reminder, if the meeting gets over, you need to join back on the same link. After many months, it's an early wake up for all of us.